Adult Bravs, we're back with new book arrivals number 241. We'll start with this one, Pokemon Pocket Comics Classic for my child. It was 99 cents at the Step thrift store. Obviously, it's comics and it's Pokemon, so it's pretty self-explanatory. Another book for said child. What else did I get at that store? Oh, it doesn't matter. I went to another thrift store. One that used to give me good returns, but lately it's been giving me slow returns. But this is a pretty cool old Dell pocketbook edition of The Ponder Heart by Eudora Welty, which I do not know. A magnificent sense of the comic. You owe it to yourself not to miss it. And I didn't. Well, I did the first time. But then there was this really good-looking woman standing at the books when I came back from looking around at other stuff. So I walked over there. Not that I thought she would talk to me because she was really hot. But so much. Actually, she walked up near me and I just moved away because I didn't want to get in her way. Drawings by Joe Crush, a Dell book. This page is rather loose and will eventually fall out, but what can you do? 1954. I don't know when the book was published, but yeah. Cool cover. 70-cent book, which I got for free because there's a bonus. They have bonus points for every time you spend $1, you get something, but I had $2, so I got one book free basically out of the 3 that I purchased. I think I paid 58 cents or 42 cents, so I got half this book free at least. Most folks thought Uncle Daniel was a little strange, but his only trouble really was that he was overgenerous. He even tried to give away his own cemetery lot once, and when he married the second time, it was only so he'd have somebody around all the time to give things to. He hardly suspected that he'd be on trial for murder a month later. Yeah, so it's a Book of the Month Club selection. Like I said, nearly pristine covers, but the marred part is that loose page. Another book I picked up was Slick Willie, which is obviously about Bill Clinton, Why America Cannot Trust Bill Clinton. I've had this book before, and I believe I sold it for $10 or whatever. And if it's worth $10, I will sell it again. Just because, even though it's... And I agree with the sentiment of the book, but I'm not going to read it. At least what the cover portrays it to be about. 60 cents. This is from the old stock, and I've seen this book there for months on end, and so I got it for 60 cents. They Foresaw the Future, the story of fulfilled prophecy by Justine Glass. And there's also this inside a different book, which sort of fell out, and I grabbed it from 1998. Vintage, and it's got a postmark, so now it's mine. Can one foresee the future? Are there really people who can predict happy or tragic events to come? With the pages of this book, a distinguished English authority on the occult arts introduces you to such people, the clairvoyants with the gift of precognition and divination. The fascinating history of 6,000 years of prophecy and clairvoyance is presented in this new book. From Clement of Alexandria, Apollonius, St. Jerome to the oracles of Delphi, the prophets of the East, John Dee, astrologer, to Queen Elizabeth, the infamous English witches whose utterances were slavishly heeded, Nostradamus, etc. This book I picked up at a library sale, one that I don't go to very often, and Since poetry and romance books were a quarter, I figured I might as well get 3 of them. Because that's all I had in change in my pocket. And when I opened, originally I wasn't going to get any. I was just like, I don't need to do this. But then I saw that this book was signed by Codrescu, Andrei Codrescu. And so, why not? It was signed in 84. I believe he's deceased now. I also believe I have another signed book by him somewhere, but I could be wrong. I think I do. It's not a good look. Although the cane is a pretty good look. Why was he using a cane 40 years ago? All right, maybe he's maimed. The other poetry books were the collected poems of Richard Wilbur, which appears to be worth some money. Not like a lot, but $10-12 including shipping. So I know I have a Richard Wilbur book or two, so if I have this one, I will sell it. If not, I still might sell it. Maxine Kumin, selected poems 1960 to 1990. Not a particular fan of any of these poets, to be frank, but and I noticed when I looked this book up that one copy had sold for like $8. This being a library book, ex-library book, as was the Wilbur. It's expected that nobody ever checked it out because nobody reads poetry. And I'm not sure why the libraries continue to buy them for their patrons. Literally nobody reads this except other poets and wannabe poets. But yeah, it's a good turnaround for 25 cents. 6 Frigates, The Epic History of the Founding of the U.S. Navy by Ian W. Toll. Something that I'm not really all that interested in, but book was a quarter, as all books at this one thrift store are that are paperback, and this falls into that category. So I got it. John Paul Sartre, Existentialism is a Humanism. I don't know if this is an actual title of a book, but maybe it was. When did Sartre die? Could have swore that I heard Bukowski talking that he wanted to meet Bukowski. So maybe this is an actual book title. Just never heard of it before or have seen the book. It does have a little bit of highlighting. Probably not worth much. But yeah. 25 cents. Can't beat it. Go into the philosophy section. Another 25-cent book, Charlotte Bronte, Jane Eyre. Paperback. Probably not worth a lot, but worth 25 cents. And it's Penguin Classics, which a lot of people love. I don't really care about Penguin Classics. Not against them, but I just don't care about them. A lot of people seek them out for some reason. I'll throw this one in since it was part of another thrift store where I got the Pokemon book, Near-Death Experiences, the science, psychology, and anthropology behind the phenomenon, which I don't believe I have this book. I have lots of books on reincarnation, near-death. But this one purports to be the scientific look into it. 99-cent book. The rest are all from the same thrift store where the books are 25 cents for paperback and I think 95 cents for hardcover. And I got 3 Tom Swift books Tom Swift Jr., I think that is. Is it Tom Swift Jr. or no? Or is that just what the other books called him? Tom Swift and his Jet Marine. What years are these? Grosset and Dunlap. 1977. 3 copies, which I'm sure are easily worth $10 a piece. In the Caves of Nuclear Fire and his rocket ship and his Jet Marine. There were a couple other paperbacks, but they were not in good shape, so I just left them behind. These aren't in exactly pristine condition, but they are decent enough. Yeah, it is Tom Swift Jr. Which brings me to this pile of books. Cool cover. Flying Car, Tom Swift and his Triphibian Atomic Car. The new Tom Swift Jr. adventure. These were all from a Nativity Lutheran school in Detroit. And unfortunately, somebody ripped out the library pocket, which I would have liked to have had. But apparently they probably had names in them or something, so that's probably why they ripped them out. Not sure who ripped them out. It could have been the church itself or the person who donated these to the thrift store. But anyways, this is a 1962 copy, pictorial copy. These other ones obviously had dust jackets. Tom Swift and his ultrasonic cycloplane. I think these are all actually earlier editions, 1957. Again, from the Lutheran school. Sci-fi looking stuff. Not a big sci-fi fan, so I will likely be selling all of these. Tom Swift Jr. and his Atomic Earth Blaster by Victor Appleton. Books are actually in decent shape, probably because they belong to the church, and the church probably took care of them well. Mostly well, though they lost all the dust jackets, which would have got me probably quite a bit of money. What's this? Maxwell's Toys and Records, Detroit. Well, that's interesting. I wonder if any of these others have it. I didn't see it. But then again, I didn't really look at all of them. I just grabbed them, sort of leafed through them to make sure that they were in good to very good shape. And they are. That one I may want to keep. And his Deep Sea Hydrodome. Tom Swift Jr. and his Space Solartron. As I said, these are in pretty good shape for their age. 70 years old. 65. Minus the pocket being ripped out, obviously. Lastly, Tom, of these non-jacketed one, Tom Swift Jr. and his Outpost in Space. Are all the end pages the same? Yes, they are. Frontis and the end pages are the same. Finally, the last of the finds, the new Tom Swift Jr. Adventures. Does it say $1? It does. Tom Swift and the Visitor from Planet X by Victor Appleton II. This one's not in great shape, and it's got some tape holding it together, so bit of a problem. But like I said, they're in pretty good shape for their age and their audience. This one actually has a back thing. Grosset and Dunlap. Science and Space. These are the famous books about a young scientist whose amazing inventions promise to be the great achievements of the future. Hopefully I can make $30-40 off these. Paid about, I think, $7 for all these. $7, $8. 3, 6, 7 times 95. $7. If I can make $30 off these, that'd be great. Plus these, which were only a quarter. Add them in. Never know, I can make $50. It's well worth it. It's not anything I'm going to read, but might as well pass it along and fuel my future collections, personal collections. That's all. Goodbye.